Steve here from Tech Toy Tinker and Retro Arena. Today we're going to take a look at the Project X handheld. It's a Chinese knockoff sort of handheld, if you will. Looks like the new PlayStation handheld that just came out. It's running the same firmware as the Powkiddy X16 and numerous other Chinese handhelds as well. So the stock firmware ships with about 8 different systems, I believe. You can see them right here in front of you on the display. So it's CPS, Famicom or Nintendo, Super Famicom or Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, Mega Drive, Game Boy, PS1. Now, it can run a lot more arcade systems and a few other systems than what it displays as well, so I've gone ahead and added those to the SD card. It is available on our website as a downloadable zip. So we're going to go through these one by one. Arcade here is running Final Burn Alpha, so you're going to want the Final Burn set. And again, remember this device is a very low powered. It's got 1 gigahertz CPU, 512 megabytes of RAM, and a bit of internal storage. I think it's 4 gigabytes, plus it takes an SD card. So don't expect, too much. It's a $30 US device. Cave here, of course, is referring to Cave the Arcade Machine Company, the game developer for arcade boards, I should say.
Okay, the countdown begins. 3, 2, go!
I'm hearing a little bit of choppiness or cutting out in the audio that I didn't notice on the device, so maybe be wary of that as well. As for whether it's playable or not, I would definitely say it's playable, it's just not perfect. But I mean, realistically, for $30, it's not terrible. CPS 3 and the higher end late 90s arcade stuff is where you seem to start getting audio crackle or real problems, so also be aware of that. If you are going to buy this device, just keep it realistic. You're going to get SNES, NES, Game Boy, a good chunk of PS1, and a lot of the 80s and early 90s arcade stuff. And Neo Geo. Neo Geo is important. This here is the Data East arcade board. To elaborate a little bit on what I did, I went looking at the SD card and I realized by looking at the config emus folder that what was being used to run Capcom Play System was actually an old version of Final Burn Alpha. So I started using Final Burn Alpha and starting testing one by one the different systems that it could run. Unfortunately, it is an arcade-only build, so we can't use it to run Game Gear or Coleco or anything like that, but it will run a lot of different Sega and Cave, Data East, Konami, Taito arcade boards and things like that, and Neo Geo, which is a lot more than we started with on this device. So there's a big win there. Also, Satellaview works using the SFC format. You can't use the BT or ST format. Now, Famicom and NES are not that different. The difference is Japanese games versus EU or US games. GBA here is kind of a mixed bag. Most games generally play fine, but you will find on some games the audio kind of gets a bit choppy or things like that. Again, this hardware is weak, that's why it's only $30. Now this needs some explanation. HB MAME, or Homebrew MAME, is a derivative of MAME that's meant to do ROM hacks and also port users' arcade games to a playable emulation device. Final Burn Alpha can run these games. Not all games will work. Some of them will be very slow because of how much resources they require, but there are some games that do work fine as well. So you can hear that one is very, very laggy. In terms of HB MAME, it's kind of up to you to go through and pick out what works, what doesn't. As you can see, some games will work and some games will not. Irem's another arcade board manufacturer, game manufacturer. Again, anything made after the mid-90s, like Geostorm, isn't going to work. I left it on here to A, show you that IREM boards work, and B, kind of make that point.
Showtime!
Pressing X brings up that menu. You might want to bind it somewhere else, but I absolutely recommend that you keep that menu because it'll give you access to the dip switches and things like that, which you will need in some games. It's a MAME menu, but because Final Burn is sort of a derivative in some ways, it has the same kind of overview like that.
Let it show! Let it show! April Onion.
Let's just do ourselves a favor and restart the device. This way we can get a fair estimation of what's going on here, because the sound from the Mega Drive sounds unusually weird. I'm wondering if maybe running something else got in the way. So I'm going to restart it and just try Mega Drive first, and then we'll find out that way. So the sound there is not that good, which is weird because the game works perfectly fine. It actually almost sounds like it has a frame skip set.
Mission 1, start! Heavy machine gun!
I was able to run and jump at the same time, which is important.
Entertainment America presents a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
So that's about PS1 in a nutshell. It works with some occasional audio crackles. Again, do I think this is a bad device? No. For $30 or $40, it's still worth picking up, especially if you like the design, but you have to be realistic with your expectations. Again, it is a $40 device. If you're buying this for N64 or Dreamcast, you will be very disappointed. If you're willing to play NES and SNES and some old arcade games and some PS1, then you'll be perfectly happy. I don't advise running Sega System 32 boards because it is laggy, but the majority of earlier stuff does work okay. There's some stuff in 24 that does lag, so you kind of got to try it out and see what works for you. But all of these are Sega arcade boards, so Sega Model 1, Model 2, 16, 18. They do take a moment to load, but they also work okay. This video is going to go a little bit long, but that's perfectly fine. I noticed there's not a lot of information available for this device, and there's absolutely no custom build or firmwares available for it at all. So I figured we would do our thing here.
The customer is king. The customer is king.
Find the miracle ball. Live from your grave.
The crackle seems to be helped a little bit by overall audio volume as well. Again, with 18, the audio might be bad in a lot of games, as you just saw. I'm going to go ahead and just let this video be long to give you guys an honest overview of the device and what to expect. I expect this to lag too, but we'll see.
Hurry up!
Definitely a little laggy.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the combatants for this extravaganza. Bad Mr. Frosty versus Helga.
So Famicom or SNES versus Super Famicom is Japan versus North America. You're going to want to keep your Japanese in the Super Famicom folder. They have an SFC file extension and the North American has an SMC. You can also use the Japanese translated to English hacks or SFC ROM hacks, so you can play the Japanese only releases in English. This personally is my favorite Taito game. So that's an overview of the device. The image, or sorry, not the image, the SD card files are available now on the Tech Toy Tinker website, and the link will be in the description. I've also posted it on the SBC Gaming Reddit in the appropriate sub-column or subreddit, and on the SBC Gaming Discord. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.